Welcome to the newest episode of Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. I'm your host, Jason Fraley, picking the brains of the top filmmakers, musicians, and artists of our time. Actor Dennis Quaid performs a live music set tonight at the new Spire Arts Center in my hometown of Frederick, Maryland. He called in from the airport en route to the show to discuss his music career and his greatest roles, from Breaking Away to The Right Stuff to The Rookie. We even swapped our favorite quotes from brother Randy Quaid as cousin Eddie in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Thanks so much for joining us, sir.
Hey, man. Great to be with you today.
You are coming to the new Spire Arts Center on Saturday, October 30th for an evening with Dennis Quaid. I'm calling from Frederick, Maryland right now. My wife and I live here. I grew up here, and our city, a little hour north of D.C., hour west of Baltimore. We are excited to have you in our little awesome town here. So have you ever been to Frederick before?
I've been through Frederick. I've never played there with the Sharks, my band I had for 20 years. Played around there. We played at Annapolis. But really looking forward to being there on Saturday night and conversing with the people and having a great time and playing some songs that everybody knows. And I want everybody to be entertained. And I have a money-back guarantee if you're not.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, there's obviously it's COVID time, so there's like weird little outdoor barricades. The downtown streets don't look exactly like they used to be. The outdoor, but if you do have time, definitely wander around. There's some really cool restaurants and shit. I love this little town. But all right, so if people come out to New Spire Arts Center, what sort of stuff are they gonna hear? I know you're out with a brand new single. I think it just dropped today called Heartbeat. What's that about?
Heartbeat is a love song that does not say the word love. I wrote it for my wife, and it came from a dream, really. And it's really the experience that anybody would feel being in love and so close to someone that you feel like they are a part of you. That's dropping today, and I'm really excited about that. The rest of the show is going to be songs from my life, from over the decades. Half of them will be songs that people remember. Half of them I wrote. There'll be a lot of like rock and roll, Jerry Lee Lewis on the piano. And I think we're going to have a really great time. There's going to be some audience participation and just a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned Jerry Lee Lewis. Of course, people remember you playing him in that feature film Great Balls of Fire back in, I guess, 89. Tell me about, whenever I have someone like yourself on, I love to always hear about your journey. I know you were born in Houston, Texas. How did you get bit by the acting bug? Like, you didn't originally think you were going to set out on that, right?
That's right. Originally, it was going to be music because, I really started with music. My generation, when the Beatles came along, and I grew up in Houston, which was very eclectic musically. And so I was torn between acting and music. And I have a story about that the audience of how I chose to be at the time an actor instead of a musician. And there'll be, all kinds of other tales. It's really about my lucky life that I've had. Being an actor and gets you the privilege of going through those doors that say authorized personnel only when you're researching a role or whatever, and been fortunate enough to have relationships with a lot of the real people that I played: astronaut Gordon Cooper, and Jerry Lee Lewis, Bob Seger, Robbie Krieger of the Doors. It just goes on and on. And I have to pinch myself sometimes. I've been to the White House and spent a weekend there with Bill Clinton. I played golf with Donald Trump. And been on both sides of life. And just want to give that to the audience.
Oh, you've done it all and seen it all and brushed elbows with with the highest in the land, for sure. So, you mentioned those famous roles of yours. The first big one I remember was Breaking Away. I mean, man, that was such a gem. You're the Cutters, the bike team, obviously, but it's just a damn well-made movie, a coming-of-age story.
Yeah, Breaking Away, I actually saw it again. It was on TV, just happened to be there a couple of months ago. And it's amazing how that movie still holds up. It takes place in Indiana, middle America. It was directed by an Englishman, and it was written by a first-generation Czech immigrant, and really captures America And I think they were able to do that because they had, a point of view from the outside that us being in America, you don't have. There's real charm to that movie, and it still holds up.
Oh, absolutely. And another one that really, really holds up is from 1983, The Right Stuff. You mentioned it, Gordo Cooper. You grew up in Houston, so sure you were a big fan of all those astronauts growing up, and then suddenly, oh my gosh, I'm playing them on screen.
No kidding. Houston was Space City growing up, where the teacher brought in the television into the school room to watch Alan Shepard go up. That changed all of us from wanting to be cowboys to wanting to be astronauts. And Gordo Cooper of the original 7, was my favorite astronaut as a kid. I thought he had a cool name. He was the youngest of the astronauts, which made him kind of the rock and roll type of astronaut. And it wound up that he lived 3 miles from me in LA when I got the part, and I just cold called him, and we became really great friends. And I got my pilot's license on that movie and learned to fly. And now I fly jets, made it all the way up to that. And it still remains my favorite movie.
It's probably my favorite of yours too. And that's saying something because you've done a bunch. But man, what a movie! And then Ed Harris as John Glenn. It is just it's a powerful piece of work, man. Oh, that's a deep cast.
Yeah.
And then, of course, maybe for family style sports movies, everyone will remember your role in The Rookie. Talk about why it's just got to be a treat to be in something that is going to be so inspirational to audiences.
Yeah, The Rookie was yet another real person that I was, playing. I like to play real people because, the source material is right there if you take advantage of it. Jimmy Morris was on the set every day. I had 6 months to prepare for it. I hadn't been on a mound since Little League at the time, but Jim Gott, who was a catcher for the Dodgers, would come over to my house and throw baseballs with me, and I pitched to him. And then on Fridays, that's my lucky life, every Friday I got to go to Dodger Stadium and in an empty stadium and pitch on the mound there. That was really quite something when you think of Don Drysdale and Sandy Koufax and Valenzuela and all the pitchers that had been on that mound. That was really quite something. And then making the movie was just one of the most beautiful experiences I've ever had. Jimmy could throw 100 miles an hour, and I never put myself on a radar gun because I didn't want to blow what I thought I was doing. I'm sure I would have been really disappointed.
For sure. Well, there's been so many roles. We could go on and on, but I'm curious. Do you have a favorite movie role of your brother, Randy Quaid? Is it like The Last Picture Show early stuff? Is it the vacation movies with the cousin Eddie? Or is it Independence Day with Up Yours?
I think it is, that would be Vacation. Yeah. The line is, "Merry Christmas, crackers full." That would be it. In fact, I watch that movie twice a year. Christmas in July, you got to watch Christmas Vacation. Cousin Eddie, I recognize that guy because that character really kind of comes from this guy who was his boss at an ice cream store. Who was, and with a couple of our uncles thrown in there, I think. But Randy is so brilliant. He is one of my 5 favorite actors in the world, I think.
Oh, I love that you said "Merry Christmas, Crappers Fool." I'm laughing. I can't even get through this next line, but I'm gonna try. My favorite line from that movie is when him and Clark Griswold, Chevy Chase, they're looking at the sleds, the metal sleds, and the saucers, and he's talking about the metal plate in his head, and he says, "Every time my wife turns the microwave on, I pee myself and forget who I am for a half an hour."
Yeah. Metal plate. You got a metal plate in my head.
Oh my gosh. The At Life supply of the jelly of the month. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
The line in Vacation, the first one, when he says to Clark, "I bet you're about ready for a cooling," and he hands him his half-drunk beer and then pulls himself off a full one.
I could watch that original Vacation a million times.
Yeah.
Sir,
Hamburger Helper does just fine by itself.
Yeah, exactly. Sir, here's the leash, sir. The rest of the carcass is back off the road. Oh my God, I'm crying. I'm crying laughing.
I can't help it.
It's so good. It's so good. Oh, thanks for laughing with me on that. You're probably at the airport and people are probably like, what is he laughing at? Well, I know you got to catch a flight.
I'm taking it on the road with the music, and it's going to be a really good time. And like I said, I guarantee that, or your money back. And we're going to play some songs, have some fun, have some laughs, and everybody will not be crying. Let's put it that way.
Exactly. Well, check him out live if you want to see Dennis Quaid at the new Spire Arts Center here in Frederick, Maryland on Saturday, October 30th. Thanks so much for joining us. This is great. We are, I can't tell you how excited we are. Like I said at the top, to welcome you to our little town of Frederick, Maryland. We're so excited.
Well, me too. It's going to be the first time I've been on stage with just myself since I think my coffee house days back in the 70s. And so it's going to be a little nervous, but that's great. I love having stage fright. Fantastic. It's energy that you can use. Can I also mention that for tickets, that people can go to DennisQuaidIsHere.com and purchase tickets right there.
Well, you said stage fright. It is Halloween weekend, so you're allowed to have some frights. Are you gonna dress up at all?
I'm gonna come as Cousin Eddie.
Happy Halloween, the Crapper's Full.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, cool. Well, have a safe flight. Can't wait to see you here. Thanks so much, sir.
Oh man, you bet. Thank you, Jason.
Thanks so much for joining us on Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. Remember to hit the subscribe button and give us a 5-star rating if you like what you hear. We'll see you next time. I wanted to take a second to tell you about an app I really enjoy. Living in the DC area is great, and Podcast DC gathers all of the local shows that I like all in one local app. Health, sports, local news, politics, and so much more. Podcast DC is the new local app with hundreds of DC area podcasts to choose from. I can earn exciting rewards just for listening and share the podcasts I love instantly. Available in the App Store or in Google Play, listen local with Podcast DC.